So far, we've covered the effect of the Zhang Fu and how they relate to eye conditions and eye disorders, and how each of the Zhang or the Fu has an influence on a particular part of the eye, a special influence on a particular part of the eye. We now turn to the next aspect of anatomy and physiology, which is the flow of qi around the eyes, and in particular the flow of qi in the channels. So what are the channels which go to the eye? Well, this is what one learns in first year of acupuncture school. One has the stomach channel, of course, and then by extension the large intestine channel, because the large intestine channel ends at large intestine 20, and then a branch goes to stomach 1. And this is the reason why large intestine 4 is so helpful for all eye conditions. We also have the bladder channel, which is especially important since it arises in the eye at bladder 1 and then goes over the head. We also have the gallbladder and sanjiao channels, which the gallbladder obviously goes close to the eye, and the sanjiao channel also goes close to the eye. There are internal pathways from these points to the eye itself. There's also an internal pathway from sanjiao 17 to the eyes. This is, as I say, taught in any basic course in acupuncture. What is not so often taught in acupuncture schools is the barrier theory, which has been developed in the French school by Dr. Guillaume, especially Dr. Guillaume and his co-workers. Dr. Guillaume studied the ancient Chinese texts and noticed that the number of points had the word guan in them. Guan, and guan means a gate. So, for example, we have Nei Guan, pericardium 6, Wai Guan, sanjiao 5, Shang Guan, which is gallbladder 3, and Xia Guan, which is stomach 7. And they thought, well, why do they have this word guan? What does it mean? The word guan is normally translated as gate, but actually it doesn't mean a moss-covered 5-barred gate going into a farmer's field. It means it's the gate that is an entrance and an exit to a city. It's a huge, great structure towering 30 or 40 feet up into the air, and it's the only way, well, the various gates are the only way in and out of the city. At night time, these gates are shut. Here we have a picture of a gate in daytime when it's open. You can see how it's congested for most of the time, with people from the country bringing produce into the town. So these barrier points are places where the traffic easily gets obstructed. And so with this idea, they went back to study the ancient texts, and they said, yes, that's what they were trying to tell us. That's what the ancients were trying to tell us when they named the points this. They are places where the qi can easily become obstructed. And so they studied it, and they found that, for example, pericardium 6, Nei Guan, is the place where the yin qi flowing to the hand easily becomes obstructed. Sanjiao 5 is where the yang qi returning easily becomes obstructed. And the idea is that if you have an obstruction there, it's then the qi only reaches the other side with difficulty. There's only a small trickle of qi instead of being a healthy flow. Now, the reason I mention this is that it's not just the points which have the name Guan in them, like Nei Guan and Shang Guan and Xia Guan. There's other points, many other points in the body which are like barrier points, as they call them, point barrière. And they are points where the energy can accumulate, and if the qi doesn't get past that point or only gets past it very slowly, then all the channels on the other side will be poorly nourished. And this has great significance in the treatment of eye diseases because we have, for the head, we've got the point gallbladder 20, Feng Che, which is a barrier point for the head. They say it's a barrier point for the qi leaving the head. It's especially effective for full conditions of the head. So when the qi builds up in the head and you've got a very full headache, it is at this point that the qi easily gets blocked and cannot flow back into the body. In my experience, gallbladder 20 is a barrier point both for qi going up into the head and for qi leaving the head and going into the body. Then the next point is gallbladder 21, which is given as the barrier point for qi going from the body into the head. And this, of course, is one of the reasons why it's so tender in people who are tense and have deficiency type of headaches. Now, this isn't to talk about headaches, it's to talk about eye conditions, but this, if the qi is not entering the head at all, then it's easy for the eyes to go wrong. Likewise, if the qi is obstructed in the head, then the eyes are in the head, so it's easy for eye problems to develop. What are the other points? There's some other key points for treating eyes. Another point is Sanjiao 17. This is a key barrier point for the whole of the lower part of the face, but also to a certain extent for the upper part of the face. We also see stomach 8, Tou Wei, is another barrier point for the front of the face. So when the qi gets blocked, it can be blocked in the back part of the face, but not reach the front part of the face. And this is one of the reasons why Tou Wei, stomach 8, is helpful for eye problems. It's one of the points for eye problems. We also see the same with bladder 2, they consider another barrier point. So this is, you will find that bladder 2 is also very effective in eye problems. So that's a brief word about the Chinese anatomy. And I mention it now because it has an influence on how one views the cause of eye illnesses, which is the next topic that I'm going to come to.